Next storage type is iSCSi. Okay. Internet Small Computer System Interface. The architecture will be exactly the same from ESX machine to the SAN array. So from two storage adapters, we'll be going to two SAN switches, from SAN switches to the switch array. Okay. So in a redundant manner and with four paths. From ESX machine, it looks like two adapters, but will total we get four paths. Okay, from source to the destination. Now, if it is iSCSi, the architecture is same, but the material or components that we use are copper made. In FC, what was the material? Fiber.
Fiber.
Here, big copper. Yeah. So same as the internet cables that we see, right? Copper cables. Okay, it will be copper cables, normal network adapters on your laptop. Okay. Same like normal switches that we have in our lab, and this also regular copper made devices. Everything, the material from the server to the storage array are made up of copper. So the data transmission we get in the copper material is electric signals, same like our electricity wires that we use, right? Same copper material. So the data transfer will happen with the speed of electricity. That's why FC, the data transmission will happen with the speed of light. So speed of light is faster than the speed of electricity. That's why normally we get good performance in FC compared to iSCSi. Okay, because of the material, the media that we transferring from host to the storage. But overall, if you see the cost also, iSCSi will be less compared to FC because copper material it will be charged less. We get for less price. Okay. Normally, medium scale companies used to use this architecture. Okay, iSCSi. But with the increased competency, many storage companies are available now. People are getting FC for the price of almost iSCSi price itself. That's why iSCSi usage is very rare. Okay, not even 5 to 10% of market share. So, but still, we should know if it is iSCSi, how we should work with iSCSi architecture and connect it to the ESXi host. Okay, so first one, copper cables, adapters, switches, etc. Data transmission, the form of so less performance than FC and less costlier than FC. Medium scale companies used to buy this model. Okay. Even in fact, if you look at the ESXi machine, we cannot even identify whether it is FC or iSCSi if you normally log in, right? So as a VMware administrator, there will be no difference in terms of FC and iSCSi except very first time configuration. Very first time, there will be one time configuration for iSCSi and FC, so that will be difference. If you see, these are the data stores, even they will be FC or iSCSi, it looks the same. From this information, we cannot identify which is FC and which is iSCSi. Okay, by looking at these options. But still we can differentiate, we'll see that. Okay, now these adapters are normal network adapters only. Network adapter 1 and network adapter 2. It will have IQN address. This it will have iSCSi qualified name. So we don't need to know the full abbreviation, but quickly I'll give you IQN will be iSCSi qualified name. Next, I'll just copy here. manufacturer's domain in reverse order. This is the IQN address. Okay, here you can copy. (1998-01) is the month and year. Okay, month and year of manufacturer established. So this adapter was manufactured by some company, and that company was publicly listed. So when they have registered their company in the public market. Okay. So 1998-01. Okay. Then that company name in reverse order, com.vmware, right? This adapter was developed by manufacturer domain in reverse order. Normally VMware.com, HP.com, IBM.com it should be, right? Now it's the domain will be in reverse order, com.vmware.com. Rest of the address is identifier, server identifier. Okay. You don't need to worry about this addressing schema. Even out of 100, not even 1% chance about interview or day-to-day work also. Okay. But this is the full explanation about this IQN address. iSCSi qualified name, year and month and year of the manufacturer established in the market, manufacturer's domain name in reverse order, com.vmware, and this is server identifier. So server 1, server 2, like server serial kind of serial number we give. Right? It will be like this. So you don't need to know about this address for day-to-day job or interview. Nothing. It's not needed. So using this adapter, the IQN adapter, we will connect it to the storage target. In FC, there used to be zoning and masking so that ESXi will come to know it's a target where the storage is coming from. In this case, there will be no zoning and masking. So there is a different process to attach iSCSi storage. Okay, we'll see. Add iSCSi storage to an ESXi host. First one, VMware team. Share the VM kernel IP address. We will see what is this VM kernel IP address. Second one, VMware team only. Get the iSCSi server IP and target binding. This is one-time task. You don't need to do it again and again. The very first time only. Then SAN team. Create a LUN and map with an ESXi. VMware team. Create a data store. These steps will be involved in logical configuration. After physical connections are completed, logical configurations in terms of iSCSi. Okay, these things we have to do. Out of this one is one-time task. Okay, we'll see what each step, what does it mean. First, once the physical connections are done, we need storage space from the SAN array. We need to talk to the storage admin. Hey, can you create LUNs and assign those? Before that, we have to share the VM kernel IP address. So as there is no joining and masking involved, this ESX machine cannot understand where is the target storage. If it is FC, because of joining and masking, the storage will be presented to the WWN address on the HBA. But here, there is no such concept. So ESX cannot understand where the storage is coming from. Okay, ESX machine will have an IP address, network address, And iSCSi server also will have one IP address. Actually, in real time, it will have two IP addresses. So one here on this adapter and one more here. It will have two addresses. Because of redundancy, if there is any problem here, another one, another path we can reach. Okay. In our class, in our lab, we are not maintaining redundancy, just a single point of connection. It will have one address. iSCSi. This is iSCSi SAN array, and its address is 192.168.1.16. Now, first we need to share this address to the storage team. They will take this address and assign it on the server side, the storage side. We don't need to worry about that, how they configure, where they will enter, how they will enter. And they will share this IP address with us. So it's kind of exchange. Send your IP address to them and they will share their IP address to us. Exchange the IP address between the server team and storage team. Server team means our team, where we belong. Okay. So once you exchange the IP address, this IP address, this network address, we will enter it on the network interface card here, the iSCSi adapter. Not exactly on the network card, there will be a separate adapter for IQM there from the storage adapter section. We will enter this address here on our server side. So now ESXi is aware where it's its storage target. Okay. And we have given this IP address to them, right? In their configuration also, they will enter this address here. So they know where to send the storage communication. Our server will find its target and they will find what is their target is our ESXi machine. So that's why we need to exchange the IP address in the first step. Second step is they will be sharing this IP address and we have to do target binding. So entering this IP address on our storage adapter is called target binding. Binding the target network address so that ESX will come to know its target. It's a one-time task. You don't need to do again and again. If you buy a new server, new storage array, do it target binding very first time. That's it. You don't need to do again and again. Okay. So now target binding is completed. Next, storage team will create a LUN, 4 terabyte or 6 terabyte, whatever it is. Okay. Standard LUN size will be 4 and 6. I mean, it's not recommended. People are using that's it. It's a 6 terabyte. And based on the IP address that we have shared, our server address we have given, right? So using that IP address, they will present this LUN via storage switches. So now ESX machine will see this 6 terabyte LUN. Can I place virtual machine directly now on this LUN? Its LUN is visible to the ESXi. Can I place VM or not now? No. Why? So we need to still formatting is not done. That means the fourth step is not completed. After fourth step only you can create virtual machines. So Datastore is not created. Its LUN is visible. Same like yesterday how we did, right? So LUN is visible. You need to format with which file system? VMFS file system. Then ESX machine can place data here. Okay. So out of this, third and fourth are exactly the same as before. Anyway, third we have nothing to do with it. It will be taken care by third SAN team. Fourth step, data store creation, which is exactly same as how we did in FC. And two new things here are first step, we have to share the IP address. First, we should know where we can get that IP address. అది ఎక్కడ ఉంటుందో మనకు తెలుస్తేనే కదా తీసుకొని వాళ్ళకి ఇవ్వడం. So we need to find on the server side where we can locate the VM kernel IP. We'll discuss what is VM kernel during the networking topic. So until then, just make note that this is one of the network address from the server side. Select the ESXi. Okay. Storage IP address, right? VM kernel adapters here Under the networking, VM kernel adapters. Here you can see two addresses. Select the first one, 192.168.1.240. During networking topic, we will understand what is this VM kernel, how it came, how this network address came, and all. We will discuss later. We will only create this. Okay, we will once we understand these basics, we can understand how it came here. So as of now, copy this address and send it to them. Okay. So select ESXi machine. Go to configure tab, VM kernel adapter. Select the VM kernel. Copy IP. Okay. So now we know where we can get the IP address. In real time also, same path.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Sir, as you said, you had to select the first option which we get VM kernel
Yes.
adapters, right?
Yes.
Only the first option.
Correct. First one. First first address you take it. I'll
Okay,
tell you
every
the
time, right?
reason. Yeah, every time until we discuss networking basics, networking topic. Select
Okay,
the first one. In our
okay,
case, in storage topic, for this in networking topic, for this storage communication, we will create a separate path. At that time, you will understand which one to select. As of now, select the first one.
okay,
Okay. Or nothing but like we can create manually one more dedicated one, copy that one only for storage communication. But we should know what is this mean, right? That's why we are holding. So next one, target binding, second step. Now we have shared our IP address to the storage team here. We don't have separate team. We only just done before our class. We made that arrangement. Now storage team also confirm that this is the IP address you have to use on your server side. So where we should put on the IQN adapter, storage adapter. For that, select the ESXi machine, go to configure tab, storage adapters, right? Just make it maximize. Okay. So here identifier, same like WWN yesterday we have copied, right? Identifier, look from top to bottom. There is only one adapter and you can identify it as iSCSi IQN addressing format. IQN dot year and month is clearly saying iSCSi. If it is FC, clearly it will say FC storage, FC name here, and it is online. Select this adapter. Go to dynamic discovery in the bottom here. So dynamic discovery. Click on plus. Here you need to enter the 16. In our case, 16 is already entered here. I'll just remove and add again. Once you add or remove, it will suggest you to rescan so that we get the updated information in the hard disk section here. Okay, so rescan is recommended now. I'll do a rescan also. Otherwise, some cache information will be there. Some data stores feels like we still have, but they will not be connected. Rescan is still going on, so we have to wait for it. So many data stores are there. Once this is completed, whichever the data stores coming from 16 will be lost. Yeah, now rescan is completed. That nothing was coming from 516 then. So here, go to select the adapter, dynamic discovery, add. So enter 16. That's what they have shared. 16 is the iSCSi target in our lab. Say OK. Whenever you build your new ESXi host, so you get the IP address and add it here. It's added. And also don't rescan right now. One more thing, after that we will do that. Go to network port binding. Here add, that one should be selected here. The one which if you see here VM kernel adapters 240 we have copied, right? Check that name, management network. Label is nothing but name. Okay, management network. If you go here, see that name is visible here or not. If not, you need to click, that name will be displayed here. Select it and click on OK like this. Okay, it will be added. Fine. So as of now, no issue if you add extra one. So if you go to VM kernel adapters, you will copy one address here, check its label, and storage adapters, network, select the adapter, network port binding, add, and you need to select that name here. So that means from the ESXi machine, via this path, go to the storage. That's what we are just informing to the server, configuring on the server.
So this is only for
Via
one
this,
time, right?
yeah, this will be one-time task, very first time. That's it.
Okay.
Let the rescan complete. Okay, it's completed now. Target binding is completed. So for this ESXi machine, configure storage adapter, select the iSCSi adapter, dynamic discovery, add, enter the iSCSi storage array IP here, network port binding, add, select VM kernel, and click on OK. Rescan also I'm completing within the same step. With this step, target binding will be completed. Okay. Now storage team will create LUN and will assign to us. In our case, they said it's done. We'll see if it is visible here. So to check whether the LUN is created or not, we need to proceed with other step, like fourth step. There we can see. Right click on the server, storage, new data store, VMFS. Even if it is FC or iSCSi, select VMFS. See, 40 GB LUN is visible. Select it. I'll name it as lab iSCSi datastore 09. Select the 40 GB LUN. It's visible. Next, VMFS 6. Next, allocate 40 GB at once. Fine. Same LUN, single LUN, single data store. Finish. Create data store. Is in progress. Completed. Go to, if you want to see that data store, go to data stores tab here. You can see lab iSCSi data store 09 is created with 40 gig space. Usable is 38.3 GB. Clear? That's how we data store creation is same as FC. This will be same as FC. However, we did in the FC, we can do the same way. Fine. So that's how we work with iSCSi server. So once the physical connections are done, the copper adapters, copper cables, copper switches, everything made up of copper. The data transmission from the server to the storage array will happen in the form of electricity from here to here with the speed of electric signals. Okay, so we get less performance than FC because of the media and also less costlier. But right now, with the price of iSCSi, people are getting FC itself. That's why iSCSi usage is very, very rare. Okay. And normally medium scale companies used to buy, depends on now, like depends on the budget, depends on the feature. 5 to 10% of the people are still using iSCSi. But very, very rare. Okay. If you are using iSCSi, these are the configurations we have to do, logical configuration. We have to share the IP address from the ESXi server to the storage team, and they will share their IP address with us. Once you exchange the IP address, we need to do target binding. So configure this network address on our iSCSi adapter for the storage communication. So that's one-time task, target binding. So we do this using this navigation. Once you do the target binding, then storage team will create LAN. Even they can do before also, not a problem, because we have shared our IP address, right? They don't need to wait for our second step. They can do even after first step also. Once they confirm that this is done, and then create a data store using the same procedure. Clear? Any questions?
If you take second one, you want to do target binding for that?
No. So if you, let's say you have created one data store now, it is exhausted. Now we need to ask storage team for extra LAN again, for new to create new data store again. So we will ask them to create a LAN. They will create 6 terabyte LAN again. And we don't need to do any target binding now. Directly we can go ahead and create data store here. Okay. After first step, directly you can go to fourth step. Once the storage team confirms, that third step is done. You don't need to do target binding again. Clear?
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes, please.
Is this connection is physical or virtual, sir? Total this process? iSCSi.
Okay. These connections are physical. Okay, from NIC to the storage array physical. Whatever we have done, it's logical configuration. Here, whatever we have done on the adapter side, this is logical configuration. Adding dynamic discovery target and port binding is
You
logical
did this
configuration.
connections steps is there, no, sir? Locate the VM kernel IP address, EXS configuration,
These are
that all
virtual.
virtual connections.
Yes. Only here we are
This
configuring.
diagram, in the diagram, that optical fibers you told, no, sir? Optical fibers connections, that is physical.
Yeah. Here in this case, it's not optical, it's a copper now. Optical comes in
sorry,
only
sorry.
FC.
Copper.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Okay.
So these connections are physical. If you come to our lab normally, you can check this out. In our lab, it's already connected. Only logical part we did now. In real time also the same. You will not find option to go physically check. It will be done by data center team. And logical part is what we did now. That's all. Only we will be
That is
involved in
not
logical.
this connections is not our part. Only we
Correct.
should connect the virtual connections.
Virtual configuration, yes. It's called logical configuration or virtual,
Logical
only on the screen. Understood?
Hello,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, fine. Yes, please.
sir. Are we supposed to give IQ and address for the SAN team?
No need. Here we did
Not
not
needed,
share
right?
any. Here we did not share the IQ and address.
Okay. So in FC we will be sharing WWN number.
Yeah, but here we will be sharing VM kernel IP address, first option.
That
No
is of
need. We are not.
ESXi IP address.
Yes.
Okay.
In our lab, it's ESXi IP only. In real time, We may use the same host IP, or we have a separate IP for storage communication. That we will understand during networking topic. No need to worry. We can create separate one for only storage also.
Okay.
Any other question? Clear? So if I ask one more LUN, storage team will create one more LUN. Do I need to do target binding again on the same server?
No.
No. Okay. Good. Then what if, let's say, this storage array is exhausted or very old, and I have purchased new storage array. Okay. And I will connect the same storage array to the same storage switches. Okay. And this will have a different address. Now, do I need to do, if you want to use the storage from 17, do I need to do target binding on ESXi 1 again or not?
Yes.
I want to use storage from second storage array, dot 17. Okay, so from the same server, do I need to do target binding or not?
Yes.
Yes,
Because the IP is
yes, sir.
changed.
We have to do because IP address is there, no?
Yes, IP address is different, so it's
17
a
IP
different
address.
target.
So,
It's a different target, so it cannot still. It's this ESXi is still not aware of the target, so it's a new target. So we have to do target binding again. Clear? And the other way, vice versa. I'll show you. The same storage array I'm still using. I have added another ESXi machine connected to the same storage switches, and I want to use the storage from .16, and its address is. Do I need to do target binding here with this storage array or not?
sir, we should do
Say yes.
target binding.
Yes,
Exchanging
we
of
have.
IP address. They both each other, no? Yeah, in IP addresses now.
I guess not, sir. No.
Yes.
Thanks. So your understanding is correct. So it is a new server again. Okay. So it will not aware of the target 16. So we have to do target binding again. So whenever you add a new host, we need to do target binding. Whenever you add a new storage array, we need to do target binding.
IP addresses.
Any other question? If good, we will proceed with another storage architecture. If you are clear with iSCSi. But working with iSCSi will be very, very rare in real time. You may not
Anna, one
get.
more question.
Yes, please.
If the SAN array is having two IP address, at the time what we have to do?
Both we have to give. If it is having 16 and 17, both we have to do enter here.
At the time we have to enter two.
Both, yeah. 16 and 17, both you have to. Every SAN array will have two IP addresses. Both you have to enter. That's what I said. Like in our case, it's only one. But in real time, you need to enter again. 16 is already there, right? I'll enter 14.
Yes.
So both, enter both. 16 and 14, both should be visible here.
Okay.
They will share both IP address, both. Here only that difference. See, now that's it. 16 and 14 both are added. Just to do a rescan, that's it. Fine. So next storage model is NFS. Actually, the storage model is called NAS, Network Attached Storage. The file system here it is NFS, Network File System. In FC and iSCSi, what was the file system we formatted from the server side? VMFS. Yeah, with the partitions were formatted with VMware file system so that ESX machine can read and write. In this case, the storage, the file system on the storage device is NFS, network file system. Then ESX machine cannot read and write from NFS, right? Right. So then how come this storage will be useful here? So if you see iSCSi or NFS, they are a bit expensive. Small companies will not be able to use those architecture, either FC or iSCSi. Even they are a bit high for the small companies. Okay, small companies will not be able to pay so much money. So in that case, small companies will go towards different competitor product or whichever product they get in their budget, they will go with it. So to help small companies like that, okay, VMware has allowed NFS also. That means ESX machine can read and write from the NFS storage as well. Now ESX machine can place data and read from NFS file system as well. Not only VMFS, it works with NFS as well. In this NFS architecture, it will be very less cost expensive, very less compared to FC and iSCSi. But we get all VMware benefits that we get later. Okay, we can whatever the benefits that we get FC and iSCSi, same benefits we get it here as well. But we need to compromise in terms of performance. It will not be that great performance, and also the protocols that process the data is different. Few applications doesn't work with NFS. Most of the cases, 80 to 90% of the cases, it will work. Okay, there will be no problem. But performance we need to compromise, and few applications will not work with NFS also. In that condition, we need to have FC. For better performance and application compatibility, we go with FC or iSCSi. If you don't have such constraints, if it is a small company, go with NFS. Even though it is NAS storage, why I'm calling NFS, right? Because it's so popular. Instead of it's a technology, instead of its file system, people are habited to call with its file system. That much popular. With less expenses, people are getting more benefits. But the data processing protocols and whatever the compatibility are different compared to FC and NFS. Okay, so for small companies, it will be useful. NFS is useful. That's why people are calling it with the file system name instead of its architecture name, NAS. Normally supposed to say NAS, we are using NAS storage, but people will call it as we are using NFS storage. That much popular. Okay. Now in this case, we don't need to have dedicated storage switches. We don't need to have dedicated storage array. That's where people will reduce the money. Okay, so we use network switches itself. See the difference in it. Redundancy minimum 2 switches are there. Normally in FC and iSCSi, if you see, there will be 4 switches there. If you notice the diagram, there I would have written SAN switch 1 and SAN switch 2. There also network switches also will be there. During networking we will discuss. So in FC and iSCSi there will be 4 switches. 2 for storage, 2 for network. These storage switches are costly. As I said, it may cost from 10 lakhs to 20-30 lakhs also. Okay. Each switch, one switch. So you can expect how much it could be overall. Here, if it is FC and iSCSi, there need to have 4 switches. 2 separately for storage, 2 separately for network. In NFS storage, we don't need to maintain extra storage switches. Same network switches, the same network adapters we connect to network, right? Same way we can connect for NFS also. And from these network switches, the connections will be going to one of the, this is a physical server. Same like our ESXi machine, right? Physical server, or we can have NFS separate NAS server as well. There are some. Okay, so for right now, I'll ignore this. It's a physical server. Okay. Same like whatever we have installed here. This is also physical server. Same like it will be on physical server, but it will have more hard disk. C drive maximum it will have 100 GB, and D drive it will have 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte like this. We will add more space here. Maybe even just for example, I'm writing 2 terabyte, maybe 20 terabyte or 30 terabyte also. It will have more DEF. C will be normally 100 or 200 GB will be there. Now, it will also have one IP address. In our lab, it's 192.168.1.150. ESXi IP address 192.168.1.240. Now, in this physical server, install Windows or Linux. Any OS you can install, server OS, not client OS. Any Windows or Linux server OS you can use. It's up to you why you need Windows or why you need Linux. You will have reasons and you use it. Both the server operating systems has a feature called NFS. You need to enable it in Windows. In Linux, it's NIS, Network Information Services. Network File System, Network Information System, Services or System. We need to enable that feature. Once you enable that feature, it's a special feature we need to enable inside that machine. Once you enable, normally we call it as NFS server or NFS storage server also. Okay, NFS server is ready now. And D drive, we can create a folder and share with format with NFS file system. D drive, E drive, F drive, we can create a folder and format with NFS file system. So now NFS mount or NFS share is ready. Few people will call it as NFS in Linux. Normally people will call it as NFS mount point. In Windows, normally people will call NFS share. The folder is formatted with NFS file system and it is ready to use. Now from the ESXi machine, we just go and attach that 2 terabyte NFS share. Now while placing virtual machine, you create that virtual machine will go and place in the D drive NFS folder, NFS datastore. Understood? So with less expense, still we can get all the vSphere benefits. Clear or confused? Okay. We don't need to buy expensive extra storage switches, storage arrays. In the existing network itself, use a dedicated physical server, install Windows or Linux, enable NFS feature. Once you enable, you can create folder and format NFS file system on the folder, and that will be attached as a data store from the ESXi. Okay. So here in this model, normal copper cables, adapters, switches only will be used. Okay. No dedicated storage architecture. If you want, you can have as well. NFS also it's possible to have separate storage switches, separate NAS storage devices. Okay, and it's an object-based storage. It stores the data file by file, object-based or file-based storage. Cost effective storage solution. Normally small scale companies will prefer. So less performance than FC and iSCSi. Normally, small companies used to argue. Small orgs used to use. So we should know how to create NFS data store. Create NFS data store. Once these physical connections are completed, we need to talk to the person who has enabled this NFS and create NFS data store. So here, to add NFS data store, go to ESXi machine, right click on it, storage, new data store, select NFS, enter NFS server name or IP, NFS share name, NFS, or you can say data store name as well. That will be our choice. NFS data store will be created if you follow this navigation. Before that, before we create NFS data store, we will log into this NFS server. It will not be our task, but in our lab, we don't have a separate team here. We will only help ourselves. Okay. Log into this NFS server, make sure NFS is enabled or not. Then we will create a NFS share. So for that, 150 is our server. In this machine, we have already enabled NFS. We'll see like whether it is enabled or not. So there are multiple ways to check, but quickly we'll go to C drive, create a new folder. Okay, lab DS09. I'm giving a name called lab without space. I'm giving right click, properties, NFS sharing is enabled. If you right click on a folder, if NFS sharing is enabled, this option is visible. That means NFS is already installed in this machine. If not, go to manage, add roles or VHS. Next, next. Here, expand file and storage services. Expand again. Server for NFS. You select it. If it is not, if it is like this, enable like this. And then click on install. It is already installed. That's why it is showing check mark is already there. NFS is already enabled on this server. That's why we are getting NFS option also here. NFS sharing is enabled. If not, enable it. Okay, on your own virtual machine, you can enable it. Then go to manage NFS share. Share this folder. Permission. Allow root access. Drop down, read write. Okay, that's it. We have formatted this folder with NFS. It will be normal folder like right now. Once you format, refresh it, icon also will change. Name is lab DS09 and this machine IP address we need. Just type ipconfig. Okay. We'll discuss about an IP config. It's 150 now. 150 is the NFS server name. Here I have entered. And NFS share name is lab DS09 without space, without caps. That's how we have it. Now we have NFS server name and NFS share name. Now we can create NFS data store. Go to ESXi, right click, storage, new data store, and we have to select NFS. Next, version 3 and version 4. In this case, we are using older version only, NFS 3 only. NFS 4, it comes with some pin based connectivity, here without pin. Okay, next. Data store name is our choice. I'll name it as lab datastore 09. And here it is important, you have to enter exactly the same case sensitive lab ds09. The storage team has shared that all small letters without space lab ds09. So share name you should give exactly the same lab ds09. Here if you give caps letter it will not work. Here just for difference I have given lab ds09, but same name I have given, so it will be easy to identify the same one. And here NFS server IP 1.150. 1.150 is the NFS server name. Lab ds09 is the data the share folder name. NFS share name. Click on next. Data store name is already there. I'll give 10. Next. Next. Finish. That name was already there. That's why it was not accepted. Lab ds09 was there already. So what name I have given? Here ds89. You can see the type also NFS here. You can clearly understand which is NFS or which is VMFS. And it is having 40 gig space. Usable is 26. I mean, some data is already used. Someone is already using this. Fine. And here itself
Sir,
we can
but
see where it
hello.
is coming from. Yes.
But we didn't mention that how much GB we need to share, right?
Yeah, that's what. It will be in real time. It will be handled by the dedicated team, right? They will assign how much space we need. In our case, we don't have a separate expert like here who will configure that all those things. In real time, they will mention the space. In our case, we
Okay.
have allocated full disk space. C drive full space we have allocated the 40 gigs. In real time, they will allocate some space. So we don't need to worry about that part, whatever it may be. Our part is just create this NFS data store. It will be taken care by
Okay.
separate Windows team or Linux team. If you know how to create NFS data store, and that's more than enough. See, NFS data store is created. If you select this data store, go to summary tab, details. Here you can see from where it is coming from. It is coming from 150 and shell folder name is labds09.
And that folder name would be shared by the team,
Yes,
right?
yeah. This IP address and folder name both they will share.
Okay.
And if you want to make this NFS data store visible to another ESXi, okay. So right click on it, mount data store to additional host. Select the new host. If there is any new host, select it and click on OK. It will be connected to another host as well. In FC and iSCSi, if you have another ESXi host here, if you share the WWN address, normally it will be automatic. Once you rescan, automatically visible, right? In this case, NFS data store will not visible to the second host. We need to manually attach. If you want to attach the same NFS data store to two ESXi machines, from first host we have to create a data store. Second host manually we have, even though if it logical configuration is done, physical connectivity is already there, still it will not visible. We have to manually attach. So from the vCenter, go to storage view, select the NFS data store. Right click on it, mount the data store to additional host. Try this, connect single NFS data stores to multiple hosts. Select the ESXi, click on OK. It will be visible. So if you have two ESXi machines, right? So try to attach it to the two ESXi machines. So iSCSi and NFS are labs for today. So NFS data store creation and make sure it is attached to the multiple hosts. Is it? Clear? In NFS, we don't have dedicated storage system. In the existing network itself, one of the physical machine, we will add more storage and make that data stores, make these NFS partitions added as NFS data stores. Okay?
Hello.
Yes, please.
So this NFS sharing is only organized in a particular organization or it is remotely handled?
Sorry?
Is it remotely handled or it is particularly used in an organization?
There are many companies who are using this NFS storage.
No, it is like used remotely or in a particular building itself.
No, yeah, it will be in the same building, in the same data center.
Okay.
Fine. Any other question? Okay. Okay, try to practice iSCSi and NFS until you get confident.